what is the best advice that you can give someone when going up to successful people?
Yeah.
What they should say, how they should act, and what they should or should not say.
Yeah, so I
Alrighty guys, today's going to be a great one. I've got Lucas Hauer here. He's worked with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and many other key influential people that are doing big things on social media. So stay strapped in. Lucas brought in a ton of knowledge in what it's like to actually sit down inside of a meeting with Dean Graziosi and what he's learned in working with him personally for the last 2.5 years. So stay tuned, keep watching, and please enjoy. Alrighty guys, so I think today is going to be a super insightful episode. I got someone great here for you guys. This is Lucas. Lucas, I always mess up your last name. Hauer?
Hauer.
Hauer.
That's right, Hauer.
He works and has had an extremely deep background with a lot of successful people, including Dean Graziosi. I wanted to bring him on today because of his story and how he met Dean. I think it's so insightful, so inspiring. And for so many people watching this, I think that you can gain something because a lot of you guys are just starting out in some fashion, whether it's you haven't gotten to 6 figures yet or you haven't gotten to 7 figures. And learning the habits, principles, tools, mindsets / leap of faith and Lucas's ability to connect on a deeper level with people is extremely insightful. So there's a lot of stuff that I wrote down, and I think that out of all the episodes that we've got, this one is going to be the one to take notes. So if you've got something, or if you're good at mentally taking notes, then you're going to want to remember a lot of this stuff. Lucas, how you doing, man?
Cool, man. Dude, thanks for having me, man. This guy's a legend, and honestly, it's been a pleasure getting to know him. His heart's deep, and he just really cares. So I'm glad you invited me on, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, let's drop some bombs for him.
Yeah, if our off-camera conversations are anywhere as good as our on-camera conversations, then this is going to be the best episode. So, man, tell the people, how did you meet Dean Graziosi? That's the money question.
Dude, so it's a cool story. For me, I've always known I wanted to kind of take the entrepreneurial path. And I knew if I wanted to start a business, one of the most important tools is obviously marketing and sales. Every great idea, if you don't have that marketing and sales, it's just an idea. So I knew Dean Graziosi was probably one of the best marketers out there. And, he started the infomercials, he started Motor Millions, and partner, one of his best friends is Tony Robbins. So he was really good at connecting and kind of just making a lot of money, but also helping people, that fine line. And so he lives here in Phoenix, Arizona. I see him driving, and I saw his ads. I had his book, Millionaire Success Habits, at the time. I had his real estate course because I was starting to get serious about real estate. And I see him driving with his kids. And it's like one of those decisions where you're like, okay, I'm probably never going to see this guy driving again. Like the chances that I just am passing him, driving in the neighborhood is pretty unlikely. So I end up following him. He actually pulls out behind me. It's kind of funny. So I'm driving down, I don't know if you guys know where Camelback Road is, but we're in Phoenix. So I'm driving down a pretty main road. He passes it, he gets out behind me. So I'm in my rear view, I'm waiting. I'm like, hopefully he pulls out. And I'm driving, and he pulls out behind me, and I'm slowing down, making sure I'm seeing where he's turning. I see him turn down a road. I flip a U-turn quick on like a major intersection. Driving. I follow him, I pin it, I get on his tail. I'm like, all right, hopefully, I'm not driving for like 30 minutes. But he ends up pulling over about 5-10 minutes later. And I got out of the car, I stopped, and I was just really polite about it. Hey, I know you're short on time. I just want to say thank you. I have your books. I have your courses, and I love what you do. I've been following you for a while. I'd love to see if there's maybe an opportunity to just work for free for you for a little while. And he ended up, just kind of like putting me in contact with his social media. It's just like, yeah, reach out on social media, do it quick, so that way I see it and I reply. So I reached out on Instagram, reached out on Facebook, nothing.
Nothing.
Literally nothing. So, most people at this time, you'd probably be like, oh, all right, wasn't meant to be. But I was like, dude, well, he already knows my face, and he knows, I'm pretty out there. I just, randomly dropped in, followed him. And so then I ended up hopping on, I remember his ads, and he films a lot of ads in his backyard. So, and I kind of remember the road he pulled out from, so I hopped on Google Maps, put it on satellite, tried to really, try to dial in. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of houses around here, but he had a sports court, and he had a nice kind of like tropical pool area. So I was searching around for a while, and I finally found one that I was like, dude, that has to be it. Like, it has a big yard, has that. So then I wrote him a handwritten letter. And that one, nothing. It was literally the same premise. It's like, hey, I'm just graduating college. Just would love to learn for free or work for free and, help you in any way possible. So nothing there. Second one. Nothing. First letter, nothing. And I dropped it off. So that way I didn't put it in the mail. I literally just dropped it off, ran by his house. So then I wrote another one. Same premise. Hey, I'd like to work for you, work for free, do anything. And this one was like, hey, I'm not a stalker. But if you don't reply, in the next few letters, like, you're just gonna keep getting them. So I was kind of telling him, like, hey, I'm persistent, right? Like, you better reply. I just want to work for free. Like, dude, I'll get you coffee. I don't really care. And that one ended up putting in the hands of his COO at the time. Mm-hmm. And got in for an interview and crushed the interview. Basically got hired on the spot, met all the guys, and just a lot of hungry individuals. It's kind of where I met Brian and Ryan O'Donnell and Nick Neve and Luis and just some really cool guys, and it kind of got me in this whole world of just like entrepreneurs and people like yourself, and I met Bridger that way because Brian introduced me to Bridger, and Bridger introduced me to all these guys. So your inner circle just grows by getting into kind of like an entrepreneur, like it was kind of a startup. It was like 10, 15 people at the time, and now we're at 75.
Wow, what year is that? What year was that?
That was 2019.
2019.
Middle of 2019.
So, just kind of digressing that story for a little bit. Seeing Dean down the road, that's just one thing. But then second, having the notion to turn around and follow him, follow success, and then go up to him and do what you did. I want to, stop at that point real quick. What is the best advice that you can give someone when going up to successful people? What they should say, how they should act, and what they should or should not say?
Yeah, so I don't like to, everyone always thinks like, hey, we should ask for advice. Like, I don't really like to ask advice because so many people ask that. I like to say, Alex, you've accomplished so much in your life. It must have been tough. What was the one thing you learned? Like, what, what kind of made you, what was your why? I like asking your why more than your advice because so many people ask for advice. But I think if you can really get to the why of like, hey, why did you want to be, working in sales? Why did you want to create this travel thing? What were the lessons you learned? What was the biggest lesson you learned along the way? Because a lot of the times, like, that biggest lesson and their why is really kind of their biggest advice if you really reverse engineer it. So I like asking that question. I don't like asking for advice just because it's such a common question successful people get, and it's almost like a cop-out. I think it's an easy, hey, what's your biggest piece of advice? Imagine how many times a successful entrepreneur got that. So if you can just make yourself different, make yourself stand out a little bit, ask a little bit of a deeper question, biggest lesson you learned, and kind of what's your why behind, what made you keep going?
Yeah.
I know it was tough. What made you keep pushing through, and after failure, because I'm guessing there was some along the way, wasn't there?
And then the follow-up, the follow-up with that, how important is the follow-up?
Yeah, the follow-up is honestly probably the most important. I think that's kind of where a lot of people struggle. I think a lot of people, attempt it once and then tend to be like, well, there's nothing I can do. Well, there's a lot more you can do.
Yeah.
And especially just that first initial interaction is vital because then they're like, okay, hey, that guy kind of just came out of nowhere. Seemed like a really nice guy. But if I didn't follow up, like, I hands down would not be where I'm at today. Like, I wouldn't have been in this inner circle. I wouldn't have met these people. I would probably still be, and I'm still figuring it out, of course, but I wouldn't be, as far ahead. So I think the follow-up is vital, and just doing that extra LinkedIn, right? There's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, there's a place where your successful people hide, and there's a place where you can probably find that information, whether that's, their company page, a contact, email. Usually it's their first name with their company email address at the end, like I've done that where I would type in, 6 different names where it's like Greg P, Greg his last name, Greg his middle and last, just his first initial and last, like, and you'll get their email. And so there's so many ways to follow up, but you got to be persistent and you got to follow up. That's going to be, the most important key, especially when you're going after that, whatever that job or a possible investor or a partner or whatever it is.
And a lot of you guys know who Dean Graziosi is. I think he had the longest infomercial on TV for 20 years. Extremely popular in the 90s, all the way in the early 2000s, even the 2010s. And even today, you see him still marketing. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you, because a lot of you guys, like I said, know who Dean Graziosi is. He's done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales in both real estate, and I'm sure by now close to it in his own personal courses that he does. And so if you could take away 3 things, because Lucas sat down in many meetings, small meetings with 5 or 6 people, if I'm not mistaken, with just Dean Graziosi in this meeting behind closed doors. And to think about, someone that is at that level of success, where he's impacted that many people, studied that much, done this much, and left his mark on this world. If you could only take 3 things, just 3 things from Dean, out of all the hundreds of things that he's talked to you about and the culture, the leadership side, but if you could only take 3 takeaways, and those are the only 3 things that you could remember about working with Dean for the rest of your life, what do you think those 3 things would be?
In like marketing, business, or kind of like everything?
Anything.
Okay. I'd say one of the most important things I've learned from him is really just like paying for speed. He was like a master at paying for speed. And like, this is not a sales pitch. Like, I thought it was, I'd hear him saying, I'm like, well, like, you're just like paying people and you're giving them more money. But like, some people, it's just like kind of like reverse psychology. A lot of people, I don't know why it is, and I kind of had this like hesitation to sell and this hesitation of like, oh, well, if I'm taking your money, it's bad. But like, if it is a good product and it is a good service, like, you're really just, and he says this all the time, but it's really just, you're doing yourself a disservice to like not sell that product or service. But really, like, to go back to that, so reverse paying for speed is so important, because why would I spend 20 years trying to figure out real estate or figure out how to start this business when Dean Graziosi has 30 years of experience in marketing and selling, and he can just give me the path to success and the path to market it and sell it. And that is definitely like just don't be scared to invest in yourself and get that course for running Facebook ads, or get that course for selling real estate or wholesaling real estate. That was the first course I bought from Dean, is a wholesaling real estate course. And sometimes you're gonna like pay for a course and you might not use it that much, but you'll get some really good knowledge and some insightful things. Like, I even say, when I got the wholesaling course, it was the back end sales funnel. They were trying to get me into like some, a high ticket offer, getting me into get more deals. And just that one call, like just like learning how he was selling, like he did such a good job. I was like, dude, I can take this and like apply it in sales and probably make money with it. So it's just like getting, just paying for speed and learning from others, from those who have done it. And I know we're also, all of our buddies and all of our friends are really passionate about that, and we know the power of it, but just don't be scared to pay for speed in like masterminds, courses, whatever it is. The second one is just being kind of your authentic self when it comes to selling. That's such a big thing, is just being your true and authentic self. Like, there's nothing worse than someone who is kind of just like another person, or and it's difficult, because I feel like we have some good personalities, right? And some people might think, oh, well, my personality isn't great. But the thing is a lot of people will relate to, you. There's a lot of people who are just like you. There's a lot of people who are just like Alex and myself. And, some people get so caught up in like, oh, well, I'm not that likable. I don't think so. And it's just like, it's just not true. A lot of people are going to relate to who you are. And it's just like leverage into that, Don't be scared to, say what's on your mind. Don't be scared to, if you're a caring person, like, tell people that. I really care about people. I can tell, you're really caring, and leverage your qualities that, you have some good qualities, and just leverage into those qualities and just be the best version of yourself, and be authentic, whether that's sales videos in front of people, like Alex, anyone, Bridger, all your buddies, all your friends, all the people you're just meeting, like, just be your authentic self. And the third would be, let me think on this for a second. I want to give a good one, maybe in like marketing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's do marketing. So I'd say the third thing, when it comes to like writing ads in copy, because if you're not running on social media platforms and stuff, like, you're probably doing yourself a disservice, just to be honest. So if you have a product, a course, a service, even like it could be a printing company, I don't care what it is, right? It could be an online course, or just a brick and mortar store. The big thing with copywriting, and when you're writing ads and trying to find ads that convert, it's literally, I think it's 72% of the time, it might even be higher, it's literally the headline. So that headline that you see on the ads where it's, right, how to go from 0 to 100 clients in less than 60 days, right? Like that headline is the determining factor of whether or not your whole entire ad is going to convert. So 72% of the time they'll see that headline and they'll either keep scrolling or they'll read it. So I would say, and we've done this so much, and we've spent millions of dollars running ads, and the first thing we always change is literally the headline, and we'll change the headline 3-4 times. Then we might try some creative, and we'll try putting maybe a little bit of the headline in the actual creative. But just remember that that headline is literally the most important part. And some people think, oh, I need a whole new ad. Well, if they don't stop on that ad, and that first headline, isn't going to compel them to read the rest of the copy that you just spent more time than the headline on, you're just wasting time. So just reverse engineer, change the headline, tweak it a little bit, and 90% of the time, that'll be the trick, and you'll find something that's a winner.
Dude, that's so nice to hear. First, paying for speed. I think, dude, that's so powerful. I mean, a lot of people just go over that with their head.
Yeah, and they get scared of it. They get scared of it. They don't think that's the problem too. Because for me, I was, not to interrupt you, but for me, it's scared. You're giving away your money. I worked hard for this money, right? I don't want to give this away.
Yeah.
But you have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Totally true. And if you're paying $1 and you get $1.50 back, is it worth it? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's,
Yeah.
So paying for speed, and paying for speed could be, like you said, masterminds.
Yeah.
Could be hiring people.
Yep.
Could be ad spend.
Yep.
Paying for things could be office space.
Yep.
Could be technology, right? Faster Wi-Fi for you watching this. It could be the fastest technology if you have the old laptop and it's not working as well, and it's allowing you to work half as much because it just doesn't work sometimes. Paying for speed, means not just one thing, but it means a lot of things for a successful business.
I love that you said that. Yeah, that's so true.
Paying for technology.
That kind of made it seem one-sided, but exactly. It's in all areas.
It's in all areas. And then second, being fully authentic to who you are to the core, because people will resonate with that. And documenting your journey, I think, is a part of it too. Being polarizing and not just another marketer, just another person, but being and trying to separate yourself. And the best way to do that is just to be who you are, right? Be who you are fully to the core. And then third, ad marketing and the headline.
Yes.
And the video, right, that you're talking about. And the actual
video. Could just be like a static ad, even just the one-liner, anything like that. Yeah.
Yes. So how important do you think now, 2021, this is after COVID in a sense, we're still going through the lingering effects of it, but even during last year, to think about in 2019, if someone would have told us that next year the entire world's going to shut down, millions of people are going to die, business is going to change, unemployment is going to be rampant for a period, and a lot of things are going to change, and we're going to print a lot of money, nobody would have believed you. So how important do you think now more than ever is marketing prior to 2020?
How important is marketing prior to
how important is marketing in 2021?
Today. I mean, if you have a business, I think it's everything. Like I said, I think that's why I started working for Dean, and I knew the value in it, because I knew if I really wanted to start a company and I knew I wanted to create a company that was thriving, I would need to know how to market and sell. And it's getting tough out there. I'm just going to be honest. It's getting more expensive. It's getting more saturated. There's a lot of people running the same offers as you. So you're going to have to be innovative and creative. If you really want your business to excel in 2021, it's going to be difficult, but you can still win. There's a lot of our friends that are still doing extremely well. We're still doing well. We partnered with Tony Robbins, and we're crushing it with, a lot of our offers, and a lot of our friends are crushing it with their offers. So like I said, I think that's the most important part, is having those, creative twist. And, there's a lot of cool free resources where you can leverage into ads that have already worked in the past and just make them your own. I always tell people, when I help other people just create their offer, scale their offer, don't try to reinvent the wheel. So many people are like, I'm just gonna, write everything from scratch and create this, new webinar and create this new landing page and this VSL and all this stuff. And it's such a disservice. Leverage into what's working and just make it your own, make it better. It's very easy to find, ads that have worked in the past and webinars that have worked in the past. Maybe it's an offer that, a product that you purchased. Use, leverage your competition, make it better, put your own twist on it, put your own emotion in it. And, but marketing in 2021 is going to be everything. And and beyond. I mean, marketing in 2030, I'm going to have the same answer. If you want to create a product and a service and scale your business, you got to know how to market and sell.
I think like 15 years ago, the advertising that we had to do was either on TV, magazine, newspaper, some direct mail campaign that we had to send someone to get them to some presentation, and so like the likelihood in you finding your demographic on a TV channel, on Fox Business or whatever program it was, and trying to hit that audience, you can't get as targeted as you can now on social media.
Absolutely.
Like social media has changed the really world, right?
Yeah.
So it's gotten more expensive and it's gotten harder, but do you think that it's still easier today to make it on social media with advertising than it is to make it in TV?
Oh, for sure. I mean, hands down. And that's why, another thing Dean always says is, don't be afraid to like really niche down your product or your service. Because right now, like you're not going to compete with Apple. Like if you wanted to create a telephone, right? Like you're screwed, right? And so like if you really want to, like we have a lot of people that one of our courses is really kind of like selling knowledge and stuff, and don't be afraid to really niche it down. There's someone like selling like how to paint with crocodiles. Like you'd think like, what the hell is that? This girl's making like 10K a month, and she's selling how to like paint with crocodiles. Has like a in-person event with this. So don't be nervous to really niche it down and almost go a niche inside of a niche, right? Don't just niche it down.
Yeah.
Get even deeper, and then that way you can really target on Facebook and YouTube. Your ads are gonna, it's gonna be cheaper for you. It's gonna be more profitable. It's gonna be easier to really resonate with those people, and it's just gonna be a better way.
And I think a lot of people fall into that negative spiral of the comparison factor, meaning I'm not Dean Graziosi, so I can't be running ads.
Yeah.
But in reality, you've seen in your life success to some extent, whether that's in fitness, whether that's in your job, something that you're passionate about that you're just naturally better at than other people around you. And so you forget about all the people that are beneath you in that respect. So for example, if you're a girl and you're in shape, you're forgetting that there's a lot of girls out there that would love to look like you. And you're only thinking from the place of, well, I'm not the top influencer, so maybe I can't run ads. But the reality is that you can still find money or a business in just the people that you can impact. So don't be afraid to start a course, right? Don't be afraid to build a funnel and market and spend, whether it's a few $100s in the beginning or a few $1,000s if you have it, into finding that perfect audience, because you can get so fine-tuned today, and the people that are watching your advertisements, it's almost scary. I mean, it's borderline illegal.
Yeah.
That Facebook just got in trouble with Congress because we were getting too targeted, and it's so true because we are getting so targeted now that you can almost put your ad in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And so having and starting that business, if you're watching this and you're like getting inspired, there's that thing, and it's really easy to get inspired in this moment, but it's what you do after it, setting the commitment and then staying true to that commitment long after the mood that you set it in has left is the hardest thing for people. So in building a team, right, if you're just beginning, let's say you have put in a year or two of work and you've already had that click on that success can happen for you, that this stuff is real, that enough personal development in the beginning can eventually lead you to 7-8-figure business. How important is hiring a team, building a team, and leadership?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everything. I think another aspect of that is building a really good culture. That's kind of what we focused on. Because like I said, we were at 10 and now we're at almost 100 employees, and I won't be there too much longer. I kind of have a lot of stuff going on, but I mean, the culture is everything. So at the beginning, it's hiring the right people based on values is kind of what we did. We were hiring people with like no experience. I came in, I was a business comm major. I had no experience in marketing. I was just like, but my ability to learn, right? Like my wanting to learn and my wanting to help. Those are the people that are going to turn out the best. And so hiring the right people, hiring, the right leaders, but also making it a culture of progress, right?
Yeah.
Making it feel like, it's your company too. And he did it, and Dean did a really good job of making all of us feel like kind of our own bosses and our own entrepreneurs. Because in my opinion, kind of deep down almost, and there's an exception to this, but I think deep down a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. And a lot of people want that freedom. They want that control. But like you said, it's scary. Putting in that, it's hard. It's scary and hard. Like I understand why, a lot of people are fine with being an employee. And that's totally fine. You work 9 to 5, you get your weekends off, you get to spend, maybe you go travel or you get to spend time with your wife and kids and your girlfriend. There's nothing wrong with that. But if there's nothing worse than making it, just feel like another job. Because so many people go from job to job, and I think that, like, especially in our generation, like, the average turnover rate is like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And I've been with Dean for about 2.5 years, and it's because he made it a culture of progress. It's because the culture was good, and you probably hear it a lot, but, make it different, and having those, just like the right people based on values, bring in the right people, and the right culture, and you're going to have a winning company, and it's going to work out better in the long run for sure.
Well, leadership-wise, what have you learned from Dean?
Leadership-wise, I think he could. I hope he doesn't watch this, but I think he could do a little bit better job of. So in the beginning, and this is really insightful, because in the beginning, and you're just starting as a smaller team, it's easy to stay in constant communication, and even just kind of like I don't feed off of, Lucas, you did a great job the other day. I just wanted to come by and say that. I don't need that every day, but every person wants some recognition.
Yeah. And
the more you can recognize your people and your staff, of whether that's, putting in a little extra hours for a project that, you were doing and you were put on, or a sales call you just made. Hey, that was a great sales call you just made. Maybe go over it with them a little bit. Like, dude, this you crushed it here. Like, dude, let me tell you, like, you remember what you said? And it's not only going to help them in the long run with more sales calls, but it's going to give them that motivation to be like, it feels good to be recognized. People want, people maybe don't say it, but
people want recognition.
People want recognition, and people want to feel like, they're understood and they're welcomed and they're meant to be where they're at. So the more you can kind of just stay in constant communication. I'm not saying every day. I'm not even saying once a week. I mean, once a week would be great, but even just like a voice memo with like maybe your sales staff, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, just wanted to check in this morning. Like, he used to do this a lot, where it would be, once a week he'd drop in. Hey guys, we crushed it this week. I just want to say I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for doing XYZ. Next week's gonna be crazy, but like, dude, let's crush it. Have a good weekend, right? Just little things like that, and even if you have an office, walk by, right?
Yeah.
Say hello. He did that. We're not in the office anymore, so it was, obviously we don't have those luxuries, but just make them feel like, they're wanted here, and like you said.
So, like, would you say that in the beginning, whenever you guys were in the office before COVID, that a lot of the employees, because I know there's a lot less than there is now, knew the vision, knew the mission statement of the company, knew where Dean was trying to go with his business and what he wanted for his life?
Yeah, I think we made it clear.
That's clear, right?
Yeah.
And so ask yourself for your team, if you have one, or if you're building one, or if you want to build one, that's someone that has seen massive success.
For sure.
And his vision, his mission statement, and where he's going is crystal clear.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Right? To the company. And it has to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be getting on 3 weekly calls with your team, they should know where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Every employee should know the mission statement, the vision of the company, what your idea is with it. And then, especially now, like, you can hire people for so inexpensive labor. Like, there's ability to go on places like Upwork or freelance.com and hire virtual assistants, and just getting on a call with them weekly, 3 times a week, your sales team, and having the sales team meet the marketing team, meet the virtual assistants, meet your personal assistant, and have one call where there's all these people in it, so that way you guys all know, hey, this is everyone, this is where we're going, everyone needs to know this, right? This is what I'm going to be doing for you guys, let me know what you need from me, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. Rewind that part and really dive into that and listen to it. Having a mission statement and making sure everyone's on the same path is crucial.
Yeah.
We'll write it all over. It was all over the office and
all over the office.
Yeah, and even here, like post it in your house, post it in your apartment, and just kind of. It's funny too, because so
fired up, dude.
I know. So, of course, a mission statement, knowing where you're going, and that's not only can be applied to like your business, but like where do you want to go in your life?
Yes, bro. That's exactly right.
Like it's so funny, and I'm not gonna say exactly what I see over here, but. Whether that's money goals or fitness goals or dating goals, like figure out what you want, put it like everywhere. I have friends who, Bridger, you'll love this, shout out to Bridger, all over his house, just writing everywhere, all these different goals, and it's so funny because like what do you think he's going to remember? Do you think he's going to see positivity and where he wants to go? And it's like, steer your ship. Like Dean always says, right? Steer your ship in the direction you want to go and point it there, right? If you're pointing at success and you're digesting it and you're looking at it and you're reading it and you're listening to it every day, like that's what you're gonna get, right? If you look over here and negativity, you're still hanging around Slummo Joe and right, and you're just going out Netflix in it, and like there's nothing wrong with a little Netflix if you're working hard, but like let's be honest, are you binge watching Netflix or are you using it because like damn, I just put in a 12-hour day, I'm pretty tired, I want to sit on the couch and watch a movie with my girlfriend or my wife or my kids, totally fine, right? But like, what does success mean to you? Like really, like I love when Dean says that, and I think that was honestly one of the most important things I learned. Like, success is different to everyone, right? Like, it might be to build $1 billion company for you, but for Steven over here, it might be, hey, I want to make $150,000 a year.
That's so true.
And I want to be in a job I love, and I want to spend time with my family, and I want to be done with work at 5, and I want to go back to work at 9, and like that's his life, and he's probably happy with that. But some people aren't. And you just got to figure out, like, what do you want and steer your ship in that direction.
That's huge.
Whether that's, a corporate job, entrepreneurship, and just pump your head and listen to it and listen to podcasts, listen to motivational videos. Every morning I still go on a walk and I'll listen to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Eckhart Tolle, some Wayne Dyer. And I cannot stress the point. I love that you're always like, you preach the personal growth, because like I can hands down say that I wouldn't be here, and it's not like I've accomplished these crazy things. I don't have a $1 billion company, but even like mentally, physically, and emotionally, I wouldn't be here without staying close to God first, but also having that like just really deep relationship with personal development. So I love that we always are talking about personal growth, and we always pump our heads with it, and that's where our ship is point. That's what we like to do, and feed off of it.
And two things. One, Dean Graziosi, where he's at today, still puts in personal development. Still goes to masterminds. Yep. Still pays money for training. Yep. Still writing books. I mean, at this point, right? Mm-hmm. But think about how much books he's digested. So for you, like I think watching this, the skill set in the beginning is so important. Building the skill set, because once you have the skill set, you can go anywhere. How many agree that if Lucas quit today, he could go make any business successful because what he's learned in the last 2.5 years of being near greatness? Yep. And then second is the mission statement. You might not have a business, you might want to build one, and so now you have the action steps and the tools that we just talked about over the last 5 minutes to make that business potentially more successful. But now ask yourself, if you don't have a business, how can you still implement this stuff? Your friends, your bestest of friends, your close friends and your acquaintances, do they know your mission statement? Yeah. Do they know your vision? Yeah. Do they know where you want to go? How loud are you about it? Because if you're not, and if they don't, chances are you're not as serious about it either, right? So the people that you know need to know that you are trying to do something great in your life. Yep. And sometimes in the beginning it's the bestest of friends, and they might not understand it, and you can continue to talk about it, and they just go one ear out the other, and they don't do any of that stuff. And eventually you have to make that decision for yourself. If you want to continue to spend time with them, no matter how good of friends they are, you need to figure out, what are the 5 people that I need to spend the most time with that can help me get to where I want to go. The 5 things include the social media accounts that you listen to and watch, the YouTube videos that you listen to or don't do, and then the people that you surround yourself with. So I think just hearing the fact that Dean Graziosi still to this day like puts money into personal development is huge, because then what should we be doing? What should you be doing? Starting out and stuff. And so that's huge, man. Yeah,
it's really that simple. It's really just like, it's success leaves clues, and just do what successful people did. Like you don't see, Bill Gates or Elon Musk, like they're not watching Netflix every day. They didn't have a corporate job. Like they just went for it. And if you listen to them, like they pump their heads with personal growth, and a lot of them went to seminars and went to masterminds and learned from successful people. They surrounded themselves with successful people. Yes. Success leaves clues, man. Yeah,
that's so true. And like, there's so many YouTube videos now today that you can watch. People that can watch. I mean, compared to 50 years ago when like you could only get like some VHS or some 8-track tape that you could put into a cassette tape and listen to that. today we have videos that we can see. We can see interviews of people that are already at where we want to go, and just listen to them and then just implement it. But information is so readily available. It's like what we've talked about in our past off camera is the action part. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I wanted to have you bring up today, because the conversation that you left me with a couple of weeks ago has stuck with me, which was the needle, moving the needle, the 3 to 5 things. So I want you to talk about the needle and how to move the needle and what you do personally to move those, that whole side that you gave me.
Yeah. So I would say, I want to touch on the focus thing.
Yes.
And maybe I could start with the focus and then kind of lead into the needle movers. So once you for me, right, I graduated college, I started working with Dean, I got introduced with, Ryan, some really good people who are doing amazing things, all entrepreneurs, and just this whole world of entrepreneurship. So I still have my high school buddies and college buddies, love them to death, but I really try to surround myself with, the right people, the people who are on the same path and push me.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, it cannot tell you, you always see it, I know you do, and I don't want to beat the horse, but the 5 people you hang around, you hear that statement, that you're the 6th of the 5. Dude, it is so true, and I cannot tell you the importance of just associating yourself with the right people, because my old friend group, love them to death, I still golf with them, I still go out if I want to go out on the weekends, drink with them, but then you guys, excuse me, and you guys are just you gotta find the right people, and people who are on the same path as you, push themselves, have goals, have companies. Maybe they're a little bit ahead of you, right? There's different tiers. I have some friends that are starting out just kind of like me. We're figuring it out. We have some cool things going. We have other people who have do $1 million a month, and but it's good, have those barriers. And I always tell people I'm friends with you not because of the money you make, because of the person you are. And a lot of people who have money, most of them are good people, right? There are some assholes out there, let's just be frank. Of course, you're going to run into them, but it's really easy to tell. And I don't think any of us are, at that stage. And it's just, so associate yourself with the right people. I cannot tell you how valuable that is. But for the focus thing, once you kind of get around, and even on YouTube and social media, especially right now, there are so many people that are pitching, right, this get rich quick, or make money with Amazon FBA, make money in real estate, make money wholesaling, make money in this cryptocurrency, make money here, make money here, make money here. It's all you hear, and it's a lot of it's a sales pitch, and some of it, most of it will work with the hard work. I'm telling you, it's so funny. Everyone's always oh, it's a scam. It's no, it's not a scam. You're not willing to put in the work.
You just gave up.
You gave up.
Yeah.
It's hard. There is no such thing as a magic money machine. There literally isn't. So if you're looking for that, it's probably best that you honestly just do the employee route. And that's fine. If you don't want to put in the work and you don't want to work past 9 to 5, and do those things, then it's fine. There's nothing against that. But it's so easy to lose your focus. So for me, it's really just and you got to be passionate, obviously, about what you want to do. It's really hard. And I've tried a lot of things in the past, and my heart wasn't in it. I wasn't passionate about it, and I was just I'll try something new, right? I'll try this. Maybe I'll like it. And some of it was because it just wasn't working. You got to test, and you got to test and try, and sometimes you're gonna fail, and you'll crack the code. But I would say really just figure out like I said, what you want, and then pick 1 or 2 vehicles. So many people, especially in the past, I was juggling all these balls. I was doing this and doing this, real estate, consultants and marketing, trying to convert offers, and it's so difficult to go from this to that. Yeah. And it's okay, I got to do the real estate, I'm gonna make some calls, and you have your 3 tasks, and then I'm gonna jump over here and write my webinar, and I'm gonna create some ads, and I'm gonna film some ads, and then I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do some some trading on the stock market. And it's it's so hard to accomplish a lot when you're juggling all those things. You really need massive focus. It's how did you become so good at sales? Exactly. That was probably your only vehicle, right? Sales. Yeah. And then now it's the travel thing. That is your vehicle, right? You have 2 vehicles. There's nothing wrong with 2, 3's pushing it. I would say 1 or 2 vehicles, but find one and just obsess on that for 1 or 2 months, and you'll know, is this something that I want to continue to do? If you're really putting in the work, is this something that will work? You'll dissect it a lot faster than juggling all these 3 or 4 balls and being like, okay, I got this one, little momentum. This one has a little momentum. Oh, I'm gonna give up on this one. Then start this. You know, it's like, dude, like you'll trip yourself out. So it's so important to have that focus. I struggled with it, and like it's tough because you see a lot of that, right? The shiny object syndrome.
I think Dean says it best too with the ADHD thing. He says that, you know, I don't remember the full story, but whether he was diagnosed with it or not, he always was like that individual that would always, like myself, be thinking about, you've got 9 different browsers open in your head and stuff. And so I think a lot of people, society, their parents, the world has put a stigma, which is what that is, on any type of those, I don't want to say diseases, but mental barriers, whether it's ADHD, could be depression, it could be whatever you're going through that society has labeled as a negative thing. And so people's belief system and perception on that thing, if they are labeled with it, is bad, right? And that's how they live life through that perspective now going forward. And that's how they view life. They say, well, I can't do this because X, because I have ADHD. Yeah. But they don't look at it like a superpower. Yeah. And I think Dean says it best. He was like a Ferrari without brakes. That's how he looked at himself because he was so gung-ho trying to get so many things done. And he was using it to his ability, using it like a superpower, as opposed to what most people do, which is use it like a crutch. Yeah. Man, I can't focus. I gotta take this pill. I can't focus and stuff. Yeah. And so, you know, just using what you have and understanding that it's not the thing that's going to deter you, but it can be the biggest blessing that you have. Your circumstance is not your life. You know. Yeah. Your circumstance is not your life. It's what you see for yourself and leaning on that voice. Yeah. More often than leaning on the voice of your past. Because we all live through our past. We all live off memory, we all live, and that's how we see life. But like I said, man, you got to lean on the future, lean on the vision.
To just one more thing to add to that, right? It's a lot of times, it's always the story you tell yourself.
Oh, that's huge, man.
Right? So a lot of times, like, it's either, my parents were divorced, they didn't have money, I didn't go to college. You know, it's always something, and it's so easy, you know, to fall into that trap and just like tell yourself this shitty story, right? Of just like why it's not possible for you. No, it's not possible because, you know, my dad passed when I was younger. You know, we didn't have money.
Too short, fat, too young, inexperienced, didn't go to school.
Not smart enough. I got C's in college. I got D's in college, you know? And it's so easy, but like you like I said earlier, right? You have some good qualities. And like
great
you
qualities.
Can change. Like it's all like there's nothing worse, and I think it was a TED Talk too that I watched it on, but like the determining factor of young kids succeeding was literally a growth mindset.
Wow.
Right? So the growth mindset, and then remind me of the other one, it's a fixed mindset, right? So there's a fixed mindset where you're like, hey, I'm stuck, and that's kind of like the story you're telling yourself, right? I'm stuck, I'm dumb, it's too short, not the right color, oh, gosh, my parents immigrated here, you know, it's tough. And then it's a growth mindset, right? There's the other one where it's like, dude, it's possible, right? If I pump myself with motivation and put myself in the right places, get the right jobs, meet the right people, try and actually like go for it, like it's possible. And I think I'm, you know, maybe I was naturally born an optimist, but like I cannot tell you how important it is. I can tell you are too, but like being an optimist and just having that perception of like it is possible and having that growth mindset, like if you pair those two, optimism with a growth mindset, anything is like, literally, I think anything is possible.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
So whether you've gone to school for 4 years, like himself, graduated, look where he's at, whether you went to school for 2.5 years, me, left to go pursue sales and business, it's worked out, or whether you've not gone to school at all 3 fields, there's been people that have started in worse shoes than you and have accomplished the things that you want to do and still done them even with worse life circumstance. All that should tell you is that whatever you're going for is possible. Yep. All that should tell you is that your dream is absolutely 110% real if you just have the growth mindset, you're optimistic about it, you put enough personal development in the beginning, you surround yourself with enough cool and good people, and then over time you find out what can you build that can impact people, leave a legacy, change people's lives.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be the hardest part, finding it. I'm still like really searching, and I think I found it just recently, but like it's tough. It's not, but I always tell like that's the importance of just going out there and trying.
Yeah.
Like that's because you're gonna just, and Gary Vee always says it, like you probably have heard it a million times, but like you're just not doing it. So I really hope today is like that day that you might listen to this and just be like, okay, today's the day I'm gonna try it. Like I'm gonna start that thing. I'm gonna write this funnel and like see if you even enjoy it. See if it's something that you could continue to do for like months on end. Because at the end of the day, if you don't really enjoy it, like it's gonna be really hard to push through it. Maybe you have that in you where you can just like do something you hate for years on end to get to that desired goal. But for me, that's not me. Like I really have to dive into something and do something that I love, and then I'm the hardest worker out there. Like if I can find something that I really enjoy doing, which is real estate for me, then like it lights me up, right? I get excited to wake up in the morning. And it's funny, one more thing is my dad brought this up the other day is most of the time, like 4 out of 5 days, if you're waking up 4 out of 5 days ready to like go, and you're like, dude, I get to go sell today. I get to go work on the travel business. Like you probably know you're in like a pretty good industry, right? 4 to 5 days a week, if you're waking up like during the week, excited to go to work, he's like, dude, it's a winner. But if you're waking up 1, 2, 3 days a week and you're like, gotta go to work again, which is probably a lot of people, like, dude, jump, just go, like just do something else. Like eventually there's no, and it's tough because you don't want to be that employee or that business owner that's jumping from thing to thing, but especially as an employee, like you don't want to be 3 months in, out. Like I know you, for hiring people, like it's probably a horrible quality, right? But as an entrepreneur, like it's good to try new things. As an employee, not so much. Like but at the same time, like you got to understand, if you don't enjoy that, what do you think is going to change, in 1 to 2 years or 3 years to be like, oh, it's a great job now. You know, so don't be scared to like, if you're valuable enough and you know how to, like, dude, there's so many ways to apply to a job and get a new job that, like, don't be scared to jump and like try something new and put yourself out there and save some money so you can actually do that. Don't spend all your money. Shit. That's honestly important too. I've been a really good saver, and I know you have too. And I invest in myself. I invest in fun, and all the rest I save for,
And you invest in speed, right?
Yeah, I invest in speed, and I invest in I invest in myself and save the rest for investments and some nest eggs, right? So, but yeah, that's.
Any last points that you can think about for the young entrepreneur watching this or the person watching this that's wanted to grow?
It's tough. I feel like we've covered a lot of topics today.
WWDS. What would Dean say?
What would Dean say? I honestly really just want to touch back on the focus thing, like just real quick, and just imprint that in your mind. Because for me, especially with ADD and, self-diagnosed myself, but it's such a limiting belief. See, even me, dude, I just labeled myself so stupid. I don't have ADD. But like, just focus, it literally is going to come down to that. Whether you're an employee wanting to grow in a company, or you're a business owner who wants to scale your product or your brand or a service, focus on the 1, 2, or 3 things that will move. And that's what we did. That's what I'll end with. Focus on the 1, 2, or 3 things that you can do in a day to move the needle. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I had a busy day. They'll write down like 10 tasks they had to do. Oh, I had a really busy day. I don't want a busy day. I want a productive day. And I don't believe so much in the 4-hour work week, but I think there is a lot of things that you can resonate with. And it's really just picking those 3 things, right? I like to pick 3 things that I can do today that will move the needle in my business, in my company, in my relationships. It doesn't just have to be in your business and your relationships. Maybe it's making a call that you haven't made in a year. It could be writing that sales copy. It could be finishing that funnel. It could be making 5 phone calls to prospects or clients, and just really, like, most of the time, and there's the necessity, I got to reply to these emails, and got to scroll through social media like everyone does halfway through the day, but like, if you could just dial down and focus on 1 to 2 or 3 things and just get those done, a lot of times it'll carry over the momentum, and you're just going to continue to move the needle in your company or in your life. Start small, right? Yeah. Small wins will turn into big wins. So maybe just starting out, it's waking up at 8 instead of 9, walking in the morning and listening to some sort of motivational speech or a sermon. Like, sometimes I'll listen to a sermon. Sometimes it's Jim Rohn, sometimes Wayne Dyer. Third could be working out. right?
Writing down
Like
your goal.
depending on where you're at in your start, focus on, writing 3 things down that correlate to a little bit of momentum and a little shift.
Yeah.
And a little bit better version of yourself. And for others, it's going to be different, but write down 3 needle movers and just focus on them. And honestly, success is a lot easier than people think. And there's a lot of ways to make money. Like, you're going to get clouded with it, but that's why you're going to have the focus. You're going to have that personal growth, and that creates a winning life.
Yeah, a winning life.
And not only does it create a winning life in success in money monetarily, but it's going to create, like, all of our friends, I'm telling you, like, I think we're just generally happier just because we pump ourselves with, like, this stuff. And Tony Robbins even says it too, right? He's like, dude, everyone gets mad, everyone gets stressed out, but like your ability to shift that focus and like be happy again in a minute instead of like a day later is how you're gonna create like these killer personalities, kind of, right? Because like, dude, I don't brew on anything. Like, obviously we have bad days, we have stressful days, but like we're just naturally happy because we pump ourselves with like motivation. We know how to, like, that's the benefit of being an optimist, being like, dude, it's all perception. It literally is. You hear Gary Vee say it, it's all perception.
Totally true, man.
Perception is not reality.
Perception is not reality. That's true.
Yeah.
Perception is just your perception of it.
Exactly.
So guys, this is why I wanted to bring Lucas on here. Now you see, I pride myself in bringing world-class people on this podcast.
Thanks, brother.
That literally don't want to just be exceptional in one area of their life. But as you can tell, Lucas is a great person, first and foremost. He will eventually be a great father, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for that.
He's going to have a very successful business, a very rich life. Rich does not mean money, and money will be a part of it. But Lucas is someone that can actually provide value to you. So if you want to work with Lucas and you want to do some one-on-one with him, whether that's in social media, figure out how he did what he did, reach out to Lucas. Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, I would say LinkedIn or Instagram. I don't really use Instagram. I'm pretty bad. For Dean and building a social media following, like I literally haven't posted in a year. So I would say LinkedIn, just Lucas Hauer. It says, I worked with Tony and Dean. Probably LinkedIn. Message me there if you want to connect. I love giving just like value and just hop on a call. Whether that like maybe you can help me a little bit and I can help you a little bit, right? It's just an exchange of value. So give me a follow, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to chat with you if you ever want to ask me some questions, learn some things about marketing or help you scale your brand and your business. All the above. So
that's great stuff, man. Appreciate you being on here.
Go, man. Alex,
and
dude.
I'll see you soon, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.